Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Up Your Alley. It's a podcast with two best friends. That's me. My name is Taylor Edgar, and with me, as always, is my best friend, Jake Baggett. Say hi, Jake.
Hey, buddy.
It's a podcast where we recommend things to each other, come back the next week, and we score them between 1 and 3, depending on how much the thing that was recommended is up our individual alleys.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, Jake's still behind, 54 points. I've got 55. And today, well, whenever you're listening to us, today for us, we will be talking about Jake's recommendation for me, which was the 2019 film A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, about beloved TV star Fred Rogers, and also my recommendation for Jake, which is the 2023 new animated series available on Max, My Adventures with Superman. But first, we got a couple things to get into. The big story in every entertainment podcast is the Barbenheimer weekend.
Yes, sir.
The plan was you were going to go see Barbie, I was going to go see Oppenheimer,
right.
And then we were going to try to convince each other that one is better than the other, with the other not seeing it. You have still not seen Oppenheimer.
No, I have not.
That makes two of us.
Yeah, right?
So I went to what was apparently the best local 70mm projection IMAX of Oppenheimer, because we decided that's how we want to see it. We have tickets. We go up there. It's an 8 o'clock showing. We get there probably like 7:30, and the person working the door checking tickets was just like, "Oh, you're in theater too? You need to go talk to her," which is just, it's never a good sign off the bat. So we go over and talk to her, and her tells us that the 70mm projector is broken.
Oh, my goodness.
They have someone coming out there to look at it.
Oh, my God.
So we did a quick powwow. It was me, my brother, my brother-in-law, and a new friend, and we all discussed it, and I said, here's the deal. I'm not going to see this for the story. I know what happens. It's a historical, and
it's Oppenheimer.
Right. I know that every historical
death.
Yeah. Every historical thing has a little bit of leeway and shot different. It's not a documentary.
Shot different.
Well, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
But I know,
embellish certain scenes and stuff. Yeah.
I know the story of Lincoln. I know the gist of it. That if there was some weird twist, like
you didn't know that he sounded like that when Daniel Day-Lewis did it.
I did, thanks to a crack.com article.
Really?
Yeah. And so like I wasn't going to Oppenheimer for the story. I was going because it's supposed to be this gigantic, epic event that you have to see in 70mm.
Yeah.
So the theater, refunded our tickets and gave us passes, because I was like, I'm going to sit there for 3 hours and just be upset.
Yeah.
That it's not, because they're like, oh, you can see it in standard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. The whole point of going here was to see it like this.
Right.
So we're going on. This will come out tomorrow, Saturday. I'm going on Monday, hopefully, and hopefully it's working then. So we could talk about it for next week.
Okay.
What I found out, the reason that is something you had told me, which was I had no idea beforehand how big IMAX films were.
Didn't we talk about this on the...
Yeah, on the last episode we did. I didn't know. So apparently when Inception came out, and that was 2 hours and 30 minutes, Christopher Nolan was kind of told, that's as big as the movie can be, because we can't fit any more movie here.
Oh, man.
At that point, it was like 9 miles a movie. And Christopher Nolan's like, great, good to know. IMAX films cannot be longer than 2.5 hours, just physically. And then Christopher Nolan said, but I want to make this 3-hour-long movie. Good?
Yeah, we're good.
A little buzzing. So I want to make this 3-hour-long movie, and theaters apparently told him, we're not sure if that'll work. And he said, it'll work.
Yeah, of course.
And it's a lot of these true 70mm projectors are working fine, but the closest one to that is like, for us, is like 2.5 hours away.
Oh.
So it's just big IMAX theaters that are trying to fit this Frankenfilm that Christopher Nolan made, and it's breaking projectors across the country.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had no clue.
Just because Christopher Nolan, being the auteur filmmaker that he is just like, no.
Couldn't cut back on his Oppenheimer film.
I want to make a bigger movie.
Oh, no.
He's like, you know how Tom Cruise is always trying to kill himself with a new stunt? And he's like, I'm really going to break the sound barrier. I'm going to jump off this. Christopher Nolan's like, no, my physical movie will be the biggest thing that's ever.
I'm going to break IMAX.
Yeah. So I didn't get to see it.
That's so sad.
It'll be all right. But I'm curious about your experience with Barbie.
I went and saw Barbie. And that didn't break.
It did. No. Barbie didn't break. So what's sell me on Barbie?
We saw it at the Alamo in Winchester.
Mm-hmm.
My mom bought me. I went with my mom, my aunt,
If
my
you're
cousin.
not just
Go ahead.
from around this area, the Alamo, it's like a really nice movie theater. You can
Yes.
get beers. It's like
Yeah, you have a
table
little
service and shit like
desk
that.
in front of you so you can.
Yeah,
I got loaded fries and
it's the opposite
Moscow Mule.
of a broken IMAX theater.
Yes.
It's the
I was
exact
catered
opposite
to.
of broken IMAX.
So I went with my mom and my sister, my aunt, my cousin, my
Good
niece, and my nephew.
Wow,
My mom bought us Barbie shirts,
I saw.
and we all went, and everybody was dressed up as Barbie. There's pink everywhere.
There was a lot of pink when we went and saw Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
and then I was wearing these shorts,
Yes, of course.
and
It
I
was
was
good salmon color.
Yeah, I didn't think about it ahead of time until I was outside of the movie theater, pissed off that the IMAX wasn't working, and was glaring evilly at everyone that was so happy to go see the movie they want to see, and they were all dressed up in pink. And then I was standing out there and I looked down and I was like, I think I'm dressed up like I'm going to
Yeah,
Barbie too.
you should have just walked right into Barbie.
I would have glommed right in as one of those cool kids' friends. Or
It was
weird
nice.
uncle.
They had a merch table that sold out immediately.
Really?
Yes, we
Was
got
it
there
like
at-
from the theater, or was it like studio license? They sent this
Studio
shit?
license, they sent this shit.
Nice.
And our showing was at 2:30.
Good time for a movie.
We got there at 2, and merch table was already sold out. They
Really?
set it up like 5 minutes before we got there.
Like a Taylor Swift concert.
Yeah, I wanted a T-shirt. Those T-shirts look so awesome. I wanted a lunchbox. Those lunchboxes look great.
Plastic or aluminum?
Aluminum.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, I was so ready. But we sit down and watch the movie, and it was fantastic.
All right,
Just a wonderful movie.
So let's go full spoilers with Barbie. Like, how was it? Tell me about it.
Full spoilers?
Sell-
well, I
just
guess it's not
sell- or
really
sell
something
me
that
on
you
it. Sell me
can
on it.
spoil. I mean, it's got the imagination that it's toys, and Barbie Land is just, what your imagination makes it out to be. So it's a wonderful world where women control everything. The woman president, woman Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And the Kens are relegated to, there's just different Barbies. All the Barbies. There's Margot Robbie, she's stereotypical Barbie.
She's main Barbie.
Yeah, she's just Barbie.
Barbie
but there's President Barbie, there's Pilot Barbie, there's Space Barbie.
Yeah.
And
Just
same-
looking at the cast list, everyone's character name is Barbie or Ken.
Yes. And then there's the Kens and their jobs, like Ryan Gosling's job is beach. He's not a lifeguard. All right.
He just does beach.
He's just beach.
Oh.
That's his job. And it's great because the water is plastic, so you can't surf out there anyway.
So it's a legit
Yeah.
plastic world.
Yes, it's legit plastic. She takes a shower.
Did they play
but
the Aqua song?
They played a remix at the end.
Oh, that's
yes. It was nice.
Good for Aqua.
She
Get that
takes a
money.
shower, nothing comes out, She
Yeah.
drinks, she mimes drinking, nothing comes out, because
it's
it's
kinda
just
like-
imaginary.
It's kind of like the Lego movie in that point, where it's like they're
Yeah.
actually, instead of living in a physical Lego world, they're living in a physical Barbie world.
A physical, but it's also a physical world. They
Okay.
don't explain it.
You don't have
They're
to.
just like, this is Barbie Land.
Yeah.
You can go to it.
Oh, it's
And
like a place like Delaware.
almost like Delaware. It's a little more complicated to get to it. You have to ride a car, and then you have to take a spaceship, and then you have to take a canoe, and then you have to take a bike, and then you have to leave in rollerblades.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work.
But she starts becoming more cynical. She becomes more existential. She says, I want to die.
Ooh.
Yeah. And
Dark.
she's like, what's going wrong with me? So, and all the Barbies, because she usually stands on the balls of her feet.
Yeah.
She could stand on the flats now. She's
People on the
flat-footed.
internet were losing their mind.
Yeah.
At that
How
trailer.
often do you see...
Margot Robbie's feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bunch
Bunch of weird dudes losing their mind.
I could not believe Margot Robbie was like, go ahead, put as much feet of mine.
That was, I guarantee.
There's no way she didn't know.
Either A, those are not her actual feet, and
Yeah,
she'll come out
good
later and
point.
say, those are not my feet. Or she was like, if you want me to show my feet, there's a bunch of weird dudes on the internet. So it's going to be an extra,
This is payday.
tack 7 figures onto that real quick.
So, that's freaking out all the Barbies because they're like, what the hell is all this about? Because, you're not being stereotypical Barbie anymore.
Right.
They're like, go see Weird Barbie. Weird Barbie is that Barbie that every child has, which is the one that you cut off all the hair, you drew on it, and you threw it around. And
That's Kate McKinnon, right?
yes.
Yeah, she's
and
great.
I don't care for Kate McKinnon.
Really?
Yeah, she was great as Weird Barbie. Wonderful.
I think she's very funny.
So funny. I think the only thing I really seen her in was Ghostbusters, and I didn't.
Oh, new
I didn't-
Ghostbusters?
Yeah, I didn't care.
Not great.
I didn't care for it. But Weird Barbie was like, yeah, the person that's playing with you, they're having an existential crisis.
Oh, so a
So
kid is
she-
controlling each Barbie and Ken.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So they're like, she's existential Barbie now because of this, but she can also be cellulite Barbie because the woman is worried about her cellulite.
Oh.
You see? So she goes to the real world to find
Her person?
the kid that's playing with her so that she can talk to them, maybe like, let's get stuff back to normal.
Yeah.
So she finds who she thinks is the kid, who is our friend Koa from 65.
Hey!
Yeah, right?
65.
Isn't that crazy?
I loved 65.
I saw her up there and I was like, what's Koa doing up on my big screen?
All right.
She's great. She's wonderful in it. But
Let me ask you this. Who would be better at protecting that actress? Adam Driver with a space shotgun? Or Margot Robbie?
or Margot Robbie,
Mm-hmm.
what are we protecting them from? Is it the patriarchy or is it dinosaurs?
Some people would say the patriarchy is made up of dinosaurs, Jacob.
Then it's Margot Robbie all the way,
Hey!
baby. That was
That's
a
a fat
fantastic high five. He slightly touched my
Oh, no.
wrist.
We're just high-fiving and everyone's landing. It's so cool.
So he finds the girl.
Yeah.
She finds the girl. And Ken follows her, by the way. Ryan
Gosling,
Gosling.
Ken?
Because he's like, I want to check it out. And while Margot Robbie's talking to this girl who's like feminist, like to the core, she hates Barbie because of what she stands for.
Oh.
And she's just a bad role model for children.
Is it modern times or is it like
Modern
1960s?
times. Yeah, modern times.
Okay, modern times.
And Ryan, meanwhile, Ken is going around and finding out that men rule the real world.
And he's stoked?
And he's stoked.
Nice.
He's learning as much as he can about the patriarchy. He's going around. He's like, you guys have books about horses. You're telling me that the horses are for dudes. And Margot Robbie gets really hurt because she doesn't, like, that's insulting things to hear. So she goes and she starts to have a little cry.
Oh.
And then she realizes that it wasn't the kid that she was being played with. It was her mom.
Ooh.
So now she has to talk to her mom.
Big old Barbie twist.
Yes. And so they're like, well, get your mom back to Barbie Land so that she can see what's happening and see if she wants to fix it with us. And when she gets back to Barbie Land, it's turned into Ken Land now. Ken got there first. And Ken let all the other Kens know that they could rule this world. So now it's Ken Land. And now it's not Barbie's dream house. It's Ken's casa home. Crazy stuff. Oh my gosh. So now Ken, this is real. The president's no longer a woman. She has been degraded to a waiter. The Supreme Court is now men. The women's Supreme Court are all now waiters. They all just laugh at what the Kens have to say. And one of my favorite lines is when Ryan Gosling was inviting Barbie in. He's like, "Come on in. I want to play my guitar at you."
So
Go ahead.
what age group would you recommend this for?
13. It's PG-13, so I think 10 to 13 would
Okay.
be a pretty good age.
Yeah.
My nephew, he's 10. He was enjoying it. 'Cause
Nice.
It's a very funny movie. So I would say that that's good.
Yeah.
Have myself a good little tear up.
Really?
Yes.
Barbie got
a couple
to you,
times.
huh?
Yeah. It's a very empowering movie.
Oh.
My mother, there's this big speech from the mom, and it's a wonderful speech.
Real life mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
By the girl Koa's mom, and it empowered my mom. She was right next to me. She was like, "Yeah!" She was
Really?
the only one in the theater, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so great!"
Way to be Jake's mom.
I know. She's just like, very powerful woman. It's nice to see that
So-
something resonated with her like that.
On our scale, how would you put Barbie if it was a wreck for you?
100% a 3.
3?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. 100%. I will be seeing that movie again. I will be buying it on Blu-ray.
Really?
Yes. It is absolutely funny.
Huh.
As a movie. I do not. They already want to do it with like Polly Pocket. And
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit.
Yeah, I don't. They haven't sold me on that yet.
Yeah.
Being like Polly Pocket's going to be this type of existential dread thing or whatever, taking like serious themes and rolling with it.
Yeah.
I'm not sold on that.
Apparently, there's a Barney coming out too that's supposed to be scary.
They said it's going to be like A24.
Yeah.
That's not selling me.
Yeah.
That's not working
well,
for me.
considering the last A24 movie I saw was Under the Skin.
Yeah, that movie's
Yeah.
great. If it was just Barney driving around in a van.
That's horrible.
I'd watch that movie probably.
I'd probably watch that movie too.
But it was Greta Gerwig,
Yeah.
and she's a pretty great writer, and I was excited to see what she could do. It was a good introduction to what a Mattel movie would be like, and
could be
it's
like.
unbelievable.
Don't say would be like, could be
yeah,
like.
it could be like.
Yeah.
And Will Ferrell being the CEO.
President Business again?
In President Business, but he was really different, but really good.
Really?
Like, he's not a bad guy. He's just a dude. So he doesn't understand women, but he, like, wants to run Barbie. And he even says...
Oh, so he's CEO of, like, Mattel.
CEO
like,
of Mattel,
life.
yes.
Nice.
And he's like, you know, look, as the son of a mother, I think I know a thing or two about women. You know, I think I can do this for you. And it's like, you don't understand. You don't understand what women want when it comes to Barbie. You know, and he's like, no, I think I do.
There's a line in Clone High, too, wasn't it?
Yes. Wasn't it, though?
As the son of a
And that's
mother.
so funny.
Yeah.
Topher Bus says...
It's a great
they
derogatory
stole a
line.
joke from Clone High.
So did you like it, as far as toy-based properties, do you like it better or worse than the Lego movie?
That's a great question. I don't feel like I need to watch the Lego movie again. If it was on, I'd watch it. I want to see the Barbie movie again because...
Better message.
It was a cleaner message. Yeah, it's just like a basis understanding of feminism,
Okay.
which is really cool to see it resonate with people like my mom.
And
You know,
yeah.
to know that, hey, like, there's this whole movement that you can look into and
So
see what you enjoy about it.
The
Because
message
when you see
spans
this,
generations, huh?
oh, absolutely, and that's like the whole point of the movie is like Barbie talks to the creator of Barbie, you know, and that's a really funny joke because Will Ferrell is like, she's a ghost that lives on the 17th floor of the building. And they talk, and she's like, "Yeah, I just made that so for my daughter, you know, to just, you know,
Play with.
just to play with. You know, I never wanted. It's Barbie, taking Barbie, and like when we were growing up, Barbie was like a shameful display of what the patriarchy wanted for women.
Yeah, it kind
You
of
know
took
what I
a
mean?
turn when we were kids. Like, I remember, I mean, I never played with Barbies.
I play with Barbies. I have a twin sister.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I had,
you played with Barbies. You have a sister.
I had an April O'Neil. No, she liked the little Briar horses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you played Briar Horses.
I did play Briar horses. I was pretty good at the clippity claps. So I'd never really, knew anyone that had a lot of Barbies.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. I know probably by the time we were in high school, definitely by the time I was in college, it kind of been like, oh, Barbies are a bad symbol,
Yeah.
a bad thing. So
It's a bad standard for women to live
Right.
up to, and now they're trying to take it and turn it and be like, no, Barbie is a powerful icon for
Yeah.
women because she could be anything that you want her to be. And I was like, that's really cool. That's pretty nice that they're doing that.
It's also the basis for one of my favorite Anthony Jeselnik jokes, where he says that he had a nephew that wanted a Barbie. He said, "I'm never buying my nephew a Barbie because the Barbie gives him unrealistic expectations on how easy it is to remove a woman's head." I love Anthony Jeselnik.
Yeah, right.
I'm seeing him in October.
What a good one-liner type guy.
Fantastic work. All right. Well, I didn't see Oppenheimer.
I would absolutely recommend Barbie to
Barbie?
you.
I'll check it
I'm
out.
sure you would like it, and I guarantee you will tear up. Guarantee it.
Really?
Yes. You have a daughter?
Maybe I take the kid.
Yeah. Take the kid.
You think so?
Yes.
All right.
There's innuendo. That's probably what's pushing it.
Yeah.
Your kid's going to pick up on it,
Yeah.
but she's going to be like, teehee.
Gotcha.
You know, she's not going to be like, Daddy, what is this?
She is at the age now where, like, when there's a joke, she'll kind of look over at me to see if I get it, and then try to act like she didn't get
Yeah.
it. And I'm like, we
That's
know
exactly-
we know the
yeah.
bad words. It's fine.
I know your age.
I remember being that age. But I did see Oppenheimer. But one thing I did want to review to you for purposes of just, I'm not going to recommend it to you. But Secret Invasion wrapped up.
Yeah, you watched the whole season, huh?
Watched everything. It's 6 episodes. It's the lowest rated thing
I saw that.
that Marvel's ever put out on Rotten
Yes.
Tomatoes.
I'm sorry, Samuel L. Jackson.
Here's the thing. It's getting a lot of hate.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I have no doubt.
I thought it
I have
wasn't.
no doubt you're going to like it.
It
Because
wasn't
we're
great.
Marvel boys.
Well, that's the thing. Is a lot of Marvel boys like us on Reddit and everywhere else has been like, this is the worst thing, blah, 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 blah. And I do think there's something with Marvel that it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yes, it is a lot. That's why I'm sitting out. That's why I'm bowing out. If it's good
For
or
a little
bad,
bit.
yeah, until something really grabs me. If they want to make another Hawkeye season,
I'll take that.
I'll be right on board.
Yeah.
I think there's another Daredevil season or
Yeah,
something.
Daredevil's coming out. Well, everything's on strike right now, but
Yeah,
it's
that's
supposed to be
true.
coming out next
But
year.
if they make Daredevil, I'll be right back into that
Yeah.
too. But
You want to know
Bowing
how it ends?
When it goes cosmic, when Marvel goes cosmic, that's typically when I bow out.
Yeah, fair enough. You like street level shit.
Yeah, street
Keep
levels.
it at Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, keep it in Hell's Kitchen.
So one of the complaints that everyone had with it is, you know how Marvel does the thing where at the end it's just a punching battle between two people that have basically the same powers? So two people get the same powers. they do Super Skrull.
Yeah.
So basically how it works is I told you Rhodey was a Skrull for, I think they kind of set it up because he gets freed at the end since Civil War. And not since Terror Tower. But when he's in like his little stasis pod that the Skrulls put him in, and they put him out, he's wearing like
I'm the same guy.
No.
No, I swear to God, you were a different black guy. No. It's just like, I don't know. I don't want to be racist, so I guess it's the same Rhodey.
But so Rhodey comes out, and Samuel L. Jackson and his wife, who's a Skrull, they go back onto the space station, and it ends with Emilia Clarke, Daenerys Targaryen.
I see the picture of her with the big arm.
She's got Drax's arm. Because, all right, so let me try to explain to you how her plan works. So you don't need to know anything.
She's a bad person.
She was a bad person.
Okay.
Then her dad, Ben Mendelsohn, died, and now she's a good person. She's on Nick Fury's side. And so Nick Fury's going into the bad guy's lair, which is in like a Soviet place where there's a bunch of radiation. That's why the Skrulls can live there and humans leave them away, because it's like a Chernobyl situation. So you just see Nick Fury walking in there, and you're like, that's not Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Like, it just was supposed to be some big reveal. And then it goes in that bad guy whose name is Gravik. He's like giving Nick Fury the whole bad guy speech, like, I'm going to watch you die, Nick Fury, and blah, 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 blah. But before that, I'm going to turn on this giant machine that gives us everybody's powers, because Nick Fury brings DNA of all the Avengers. Thor, Korg, because Taika Waititi's got to be in there somewhere. Drax, Captain Marvel, Hulk. Like, it shows this printout of all the powers that are in there. So he turns on this big machine while Nick Fury's still in there with him. And it's not Nick Fury. It's Emilia Clarke's Skrull. So now there's two Super Skrulls. So they're just two Super Skrulls punching each other. And then it ends, and nothing really changed. And this cost $200 million.
It's just a bad idea.
The thing is, I didn't hate it. But I don't know if it's one of those things where I just kind of watch everything that is Marvel and nothing has really grabbed me.
Yeah,
like,
since Endgame, it's been... They don't know how to pick up the pieces.
I mean, Guardians 3 was great, but I think, like, when we did our little review of Ant-Man and the Wasp, I remember driving home and being like, yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
It was good, but I think that's how I feel about Secret Invasion now, and I'm like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these things aren't great, and I'm just, like...
That's what I'm saying.
Used to
That's
them,
exactly
you know?
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We're Marvel boys.
Yeah.
It's nice to resonate with comics. It's cool to see the Secret Invasion.
I like seeing a Skrull.
Yeah. It's cool to see a
The
Super
Skrull
Skrull.
effects looked really good.
That's great.
The Super Skrull effects did not look good. And okay, so she gets everyone's powers.
Her arm looked so ridiculous
But when
in
she
that
gets,
still.
yeah, when she gets Drax powers, she gets a Drax arm. But at one point, she had one Drax arm and one Hulk arm, and I'm like, kind of. You could probably just have two Hulk arms. Like, there's nothing Drax's arm can do that Hulk's arm
Could
can't
do better.
Yeah, it's like, why wouldn't you just go full Hulk if you need to? Why do you still have a million?
Drax is just an alien.
Yeah,
You know
a
what I
really
mean?
strong alien.
Yeah.
And at one point, she had Hulk's arm, and she was punching the other guy who had Thanos' arm. And I'm like,
Thanos'
why don't you just go full Thanos? You're a Skrull.
Yeah.
Why are you just pulling out his arm?
They don't.
Then you would have his hips, and you can kind of like
Super
pivot.
Skrull just had certain stuff. Like, it was cool to
It was
see
like the
his Fantastic
Four
Four
stuff. Yeah, he was just a Fantastic
He could
Four.
stretch a rock arm right into your fucking head. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh no.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the guys does that because he gets Groot's arm, and he like Groots someone through the chest.
Yeah.
Like puts the twigs through his chest. But then they just have Captain Marvel powers at one point, and you're just like, why don't you just keep
No.
that all the time?
See, yeah. See, that's what you keep it with Fantastic Four.
It was very silly.
Yeah.
But it was fine.
Okay. I mean, if it's fine, that's cool.
You know, I'm saying that one, you skip it.
Yeah, I'm
There's
gonna skip
nothing as far as I mean, the Marvels comes out in a couple months.
I'm
Unless-
going to skip that too, man.
I'm going to see it because I like the Miss Marvel. I like the kid that's playing Kamala Khan. I think she's a great character.
Okay.
I love how much the internet hates Brie Larson.
That's sad. She's
think
a really good Captain Marvel.
It's such a weird thing that people hate her so much because it's not that I like her. It's just like,
Yeah.
why do you hate her?
I don't-
She's great. She does everything well.
Yeah. I don't know what her, like, outside person is. I don't follow it. But
Apparently, she's a woman who's trying to make superhero movies.
She's-
There's a
She's good
faction of
Captain
people
Marvel.
on the internet that hate that.
She's good Captain Marvel.
Probably the same people that hate Barbie.
I don't know. No,
Yeah.
because that's straight up. It's selling patriarchy out. It's saying no patriarchy. And there's people that are sitting down at their desk going, yes, patriarchy. Barbie, wrong.
Fucking that little bastard Ben Shapiro posted like something that popped up on my like YouTube recommendation, and it was like 45 minutes of how I eviscerate Barbie,
destroys Barbie.
I mean, if someone could just walk by and just be like, "Hey, man, it's not for you."
Yeah.
Like,
it's for 13-year-old girls.
you're clearly not the target
I'm
market.
fine. Yeah,
You're
I wanted to go see
angry
it just
man
'cause
who
I have
screams
a,
on the internet.
Yeah,
Like,
I have a
this is not for you.
tentative connection to Barbie.
Yeah, the fact
so I
that-
was excited to see it.
The fact that people like Ben Shapiro took 45 minutes to point out why Barbie was the worst, makes me feel like he's a truly ungenuine person.
Yeah, he knows that I truly want to hate watch it. Like I want to see it and just be mad at it.
Well,
but I'm just not going to do it because that's what he wants.
Yeah.
But I gotta know what he thinks.
I was
for
saying more on the
45
long.
minutes.
I just don't understand. It's clearly that he's a very unserious person.
Yeah.
Because there's no way any sane, because he's like educated, he's got a law degree.
That doesn't mean anything.
Weird Ben Shapiro tangent, but I'll fucking go on it. Because he's one of those people that popped up on Joe Rogan like 5 years ago, and I was like, this guy's got
He's
some
been on
points.
Joe
And now
Rogan
I'm
a
just
couple
like,
times.
yeah, but like 5 years ago, I'd be like, he's got some solid criticisms of both political parties, and I'm just like, oh no,
Yeah.
You kind of went down that deep end where it's like, oh, you found out that being this angry can get you money, which go for it.
Yeah.
But I just don't think there's any serious human adult that could need 45 minutes to talk how they feel about Barbie.
Yeah.
Because if you don't like it, the mature adult thing to do is be like,
Yeah. You think it's destroying
Did you think you would?
society?
Did you think you would like it?
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Other than, you're selling hate. And, like, that's what he wants.
Yeah.
That drives interactivity, whatever it's called.
So what if we learned in the first half hour of this podcast? Barbie was good. Secret
Oppenheimer
Invasion
breaks.
Christopher Nolan is literally trying to kill cinema. Ben Shapiro's an unserious little dork who, is at best dishonest, at worst blatantly evil.
Yeah. It's really hard to be.
Are we talking about other things?
I don't know. Yeah.
Let's talk about something that's not blatantly evil.
Let's talk about the things that we were
Let's get
do.
That took longer, but I don't mind a long intro. We're fine. So let's talk about my thing first. If you want to get in contact with your own recommendations, you can. I almost fucking dear listener it again, but you can send your recommendations to upyouralleypod@gmail.com.
Make it the dear listeners.
Nope. First, we're going to talk about my recommendation for Jake, which is I recommended just the first 2 episodes. I think there's 5 episodes out now.
Oh.
On Max of My Adventures with Superman. It's a new animated show about Superman. Kind of set in a sort of anime style.
Yes, definitely anime inspired.
The closest show I would think about with just animation style and total, not really feel like violence wise, but did you watched Invincible, right?
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that style
Invincible
of superhero
has
animation.
like the old Superman, Batman comic books.
It kind of goes
Kevin
back
Conroy
to
thing.
It's like the 90s Justice League of America, but a little more
anime.
younger anime style. I thought the animation was beautiful. The first 2 episodes are pretty much just the intro. Like a lot of these shows do like a 2-parter, set up what this world, because everyone knows Superman. You don't really need to go back and see the fall of Krypton and all that stuff.
They do a great recap to catch you up on Superman right fast.
I think it's a good way to set it up. I think the first 2 episodes, I'm looking forward to see. Like I'll say right now, for me, this one's a 3. Like I love it, and I thought you would like it because one of the things that you criticized the
Man of Steel,
the Snyder movies for, it's like that's not how Superman is. Superman's not a dark, brooding person. Like I love my Superman. He's the opposite of Batman.
I have my Superman.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's the good Superman.
Yeah, he's a pillar of hope and all that stuff. So, what did you think?
So when you recommended this to me, I went home and I was like, I got some time. I'll just watch an episode.
Yeah.
And then I watched
22 minutes, you're in and out.
Yep.
It's fine.
And then I watched all 3 episodes that were out.
Nice.
And then I waited until the next day that the 4th episode was out, and then I watched that one. I love this show.
So you watched
so
good. The Let's Go to Ivo Tower. Yeah.
Yes.
So I've seen all 4 of those too.
Yes. And boy howdy. This is my fucking Superman.
How good is this Superman?
It's so good. He sounds great. That kid does.
Jack Quaid.
Jack Quaid is nailing it.
Jack Quaid's fantastic.
I knew I loved him from the first season because Lois Lane tricks them into going on this investigative journal.
Yeah, so it starts out, it's Clark Kent. He's new in Metropolis.
Yeah, they're interns.
Interns
now.
at the
young
Daily
Superman
Planet, not Daily Bugle.
Great move. Yeah. Love a young Superman.
Because that's where they're going with this Superman.
Yeah. That's great.
Did you see the guy who's playing Superman?
But no. But Lois Lane tricks them to go and to investigate this thing.
Right. So and Jimmy's there too. So you got the perfect little
Pretty good
team.
Jimmy Olsen.
Clark Kent just
Jimmy Olsen kind of gets on my nerves sometimes, and then I remember
he's supposed to be.
That's perfect, Jimmy Olsen.
No.
Doing a great job there.
So it's Lois Clark. Right off the, what do they call it? Fell off a turnip truck.
Yeah.
They call him Smallville.
They call him Smallville.
I love fucking people calling Superman Smallville when not knowing he's Superman. That's one of my favorite little things. Where she's like, calm down. It's like whenever MJ calls Spider-Man Tiger, I'm like, that's a thing.
That's a cutie.
That's a cute little nickname she has for him. Lois is great. She's the the go-getter. She's ready to hunt down the story, everything like that.
They immediately crush on each other.
And Jimmy's
that's what I like too.
And Jimmy's the classic third wheel.
Yes,
like he's popping up randomly.
Jimmy, and he's cool with it.
He's a lot like
he sees it. He sees the romantic chemistry between them, and he's like, "You like her?" And he's like, "Shut up, man." Yeah. And he's like, "You like him?" And he's like, "Shut up, Jimmy."
Did you see the Velma?
No,
it wasn't good.
I wasn't interested.
The characteristic of Jimmy Olsen is kind of like how they did Shaggy in that, where it's just like he's a bit of a third wheel. And I was just like, it's great. And I think all the voice actors are fantastic. The characterization is spot on for a young Superman.
Mm-hmm. So what got me to fall in love with it is the first episode.
Yeah.
Clark finds out that he was tricked by Lois to do this thing.
Yep.
And she was like, "Look, I'm sorry I lied to you." And he says, "It's not just that you lied to us. We're a team. We're supposed to work on this together." And I was like, that is my Superman.
Yeah.
He's giving her a life lesson.
That's some shit he'll say to Batman.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm not upset with you. I'm upset about what you've done.
Exactly.
It's like, oh my God, Superman. And he... making him young and just trying to find out his powers.
Yeah, because he does go back to Smallville in the second episode because it's like, Mom and Pa Ken are there and it's like, hey, well, there's this big thing buried in our field. And
he could have learned about it when he was a kid, but the spaceship opening, actually, his mother fell in, Martha, and he went and saved her, and he was like, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
That is not worth it.
It was his falling down the well like Batman does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, no. He's like, I will not risk you guys to find out who I am. I'm your guys' kid.
Always putting other people first. That's what Superman does.
That's what Superman does. And he does it the entire time. He has a fight in the city, and then he cleans up afterward.
Yeah.
God damn it. This is Superman right here, man. So I'm having the time of my life.
So you're going to stick with it.
I'm absolutely going to stick with it. I cannot wait to see where it goes.
This came out on Adult Swim. So I mean, it's not for kids. It's on Adult Swim and it's on Max the next day.
Oh, okay.
Everything's eventually going to be on streaming the next day.
I understand, but I had no idea that Adult Swim picked it up.
Well, apparently it was just put out there first, and then it's
right.
I think the WB Harley Quinn started on Adult Swim, maybe, and then it moved to just Max. That's coming back for a 4th season. Did you ever watch that?
No.
Harley Quinn?
No.
It's fucking great.
That's amazing.
Fucking what's his name?
I might have to try it now.
You need to. Ron Funches as King Shark is fucking hilarious.
What a great choice.
Yeah. And he wears like a little
King Shark around to a more interesting character.
Yes. It's really well written. Like and that's the opposite of this because that's definitely for adults, super violent.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Cursing and everything like that.
Not bad.
But yeah, I recommend both of these. I think it's a good time for...
I absolutely recommend My Adventures with
WB
Superman.
animation.
Yeah.
Like, if you can do Harley Quinn on one end and then Batman or Superman, and I relate as a 35-year-old dude, 36 now. I mean, 24. But relate to both of them.
Yeah.
I'm like, you got me on both sides.
Yeah.
And it's just, if you stick to why, there's a reason this character has been around for 100 years now, almost 100 years.
It's so simple. It's so simple to me how to make a good Superman.
He's the best, and he does his best.
He does his best.
Yeah.
He will control the situation. He just doesn't know how much he's allowed to control a situation. And that's the problem.
Yes.
And that's what he's working with. And it's great to see him going through this again.
I knew you would like this.
Oh my God, it's so good. Thank you very much.
And I think it was one of those things that you probably wouldn't have watched.
No, I would not have watched it.
Such good Superman.
Man, when he did that animate
he does do the Sailor
Magical
Moon.
Girl,
He does
Sailor
the
Moon
Sailor
turn.
Moon.
I was like, hell
with the gloves and everything.
And he still wears it underneath his clothes. And I like that because he took off his coat at one point and he's wearing short sleeves.
Yeah.
And then he still takes it off.
Yeah.
And now they just tell you, he does a magical girl transformation to get his suit on.
Now you know.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I thought you
love
would
it.
like this.
Yes, absolutely.
Threads to Neil very well. Yeah, so it's 3 from you, 3
Yes.
from me. I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah,
like,
honestly.
if you like Superman and you want something that's like it's literally a nice breath of fresh air.
I have a friend who wrote his thesis on Superman.
Really?
Yes. And I am trying my best to get him to watch it.
Oh,
I
definitely do.
He is going
I'd be
to
curious
flip
to see
his
the
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd have to get him to write in and tell us how he liked it.
Yeah, and I think it did set up like there's Slade Wilson's in it as like a looming bad guy.
Yeah.
And Amanda Waller a little bit too, and you're like, okay, we kind of see where this is going. I'm really curious to see how a Batman would look in this universe.
You think they would do that?
If they got Amanda Waller, so it's the greater DC universe. And
Okay.
also, I want to see how Lex works. Like,
I'm looking forward to that.
yeah,
Because I think they dropped Lex's name already.
yeah,
Yeah.
at least the company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. But I don't think that because Batman's going to have to be older or
It could
the
be a
same
young
age
Batman,
as
fresh
Superman?
off the. I could see them
off the Gotham turnip truck.
Well, no, I think maybe just coming back like fresh from League of Shadows, like training, and I
Okay.
could see that coming up as like this is how I would write it. I'm not a writer because if I was, I'd be on strike. And I would be giving these free ideas. But I thought about this long and hard.
I would scab immediately.
As much as I know you love Superman, of course, me, as soon as I see that, I'm like, how's Batman going to fit in this? Because I'm 100% team Batman.
Yeah.
So picture this. So someone's coming in and just like beating people up and leaving them there. Classic Batman shit, but it's all around Metropolis. And no one can find out. So Lois and Jimmy are trying to track down who is this new person that's beating him up, and it's just like a ninja guy. And Superman takes him up onto a roof, something like that, and pulls him off, and it's like, you're Bruce Wayne. And he's like, yeah, I'm trying something out. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, you're Superman. And then he knows that Bruce Wayne is there before he's established as a Batman. So that way you can put him kind of as the same age. It's like, aren't you supposed to be in Gotham? And he's like, I haven't been
They're
back
both finding themselves
Instead
out.
of going straight back to Gotham, he goes to Metropolis first. And then
really see
Superman's
what
just
crime
like, you
is
need to
like.
go to Gotham. And he's like, maybe I'll go over there and be a symbol like you are in Metropolis. And
I
I was
don't
like, that's how I would write it.
I don't want a season 1 thing. I want Superman to be just Superman for a little while. Because I'm having a great time
But maybe some Batman.
right now. Maybe Batman season 2.
Yes, Batman.
But right now, I'm having a hell of a time watching some really good Superman
I know
content.
you love it.
This is amazing.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Speaking of stuff you love, let's get into your recommendation for me,
Hell yeah.
which was the 2019 film A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood,
Yes, sir.
starring Tom Hanks and Matthew Rhys. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I got to play with it. I know what it is.
You know what it is?
Yeah, you can split 2 Legos that are stuck together.
Yeah, it's
really
like a
well.
Lego wrench.
Yeah,
So,
but I needed something for my fingers to
fair
do.
enough. Side note, I built a Lego, my first
Right, we didn't
adult
even
style
talk about
Lego.
it.
Yeah, got it for my birthday.
It's beautiful.
BD1 from the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor games.
Yeah.
And it came with that little Lego wrench, which you could break pieces apart and you can kind of just like move them around very easily.
Taylor was taking it off the desk to show it to me, and it immediately slipped out of his hands.
Almost horrible.
Within a second, he was able to grab it. But wow.
Yeah, it was rough.
We froze for a good 2 seconds.
Whoever invented that tool for Lego,
Yeah, I hope he's a millionaire.
they need all the money.
Yeah.
Because that just made putting things together so much easier.
That's a clever boy.
All right, sidebar for
Clever
Legos.
person.
Speaking of things from our childhood.
Yeah. There it is.
Killing segues right
Nice.
now. So this movie is about Mr. Rogers, and it's about a fictional author.
Yeah.
Based on a real person. The real person's name is Tom Junod. and he wrote an article about Mr. Rogers, beloved children's television star, for Esquire magazine, and now he's playing the character that Matthew Reeves plays is Lloyd Vogel, who has to go and do the same thing. So it's loosely based on a true story. It is actually based on Fred Rogers. It's just the journalist character is a little bit different.
Yes.
So why'd you recommend this for me, Jacob?
Because he reminds me of my grandfather. I'm going through some grandfather stuff right now, and I wanted to watch this, and while I was thinking about it, because he's my childhood hero, he's still one of my heroes.
So you were Mr. Rogers' kid.
Yeah, I was Mr. Rogers' kid, and I was like, I wanted Taylor to see what Mr. Rogers was like, and I think this is a pretty good encapsulation. I think Tom Hanks does a great job as
Tom Hanks is amazing.
Fred Rogers.
Yeah.
I remember one moment it just melted, and I was like, that looks just like Fred Rogers.
So Tom Hanks. You know, he obviously steals. I don't think he really steals a movie about Mr. Rogers when he's playing Mr. Rogers, but fantastic work,
an amazing performance.
Yeah.
From Tom Hanks.
And then, so the basic premise of the movie is this guy's going through some stuff with his dad. He's a strange dad, comes back into his life, gets into a fight at his sister's third wedding.
He's a new dad.
And he gets assigned to write a article about Mr. Rogers because Esquire magazine's doing an article about heroes, and then he didn't really know who Mr. Rogers was. He tells his wife, I'm writing an article about Mr. Rogers, and she's like, oh my god, Mr. Rogers. He gets this immediate sense that Mr. Rogers means a lot more to people than it did to him, which is exactly how I felt when this movie came out. Because right before this movie came out 2019, I think the year before.
I figured you weren't a Fred Rogers kid.
No. I mean, I saw Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and stuff like that. But it wasn't one of my go-to as a kid.
Right.
And then the documentary that came out the year before this, which was called Won't You Be My Neighbor, that got huge buzz. And then this came out, and that was really, full-on Mr. Rogers train. And I felt just like this guy does. I'm like, wow, people are loving this Mr. Rogers stuff. And that's when I kind of got back, watching YouTube and stuff like that. And I was just like, oh, shit, I missed out on a lot of this. Not saying that I was deprived television and stuff. It's just, am I going to watch that, or am I going to play Mario Brothers 3?
Right.
If I'm sitting down in front of a TV.
I was always grab you as a kid.
I had a controller in my hand more often than I was just sitting and watching stuff.
Yeah, sure.
If I was watching stuff, it was usually Batman the Animated Series or the Ninja Turtles. It was someone punching someone else. The opposite of how Mr. Rogers raced.
Sweet, slow-paced show.
Now I realize that why there are people like you that are my age, where I'm just like, what's wrong with this guy? Don't you know Jake's having empathy for someone he just met? And I was just like, well, hit him with a nunchuck, and then he'll do what you say. But I think it's great to go back to this. And the movie is, really well made. It's insanely watchable. Just because they had to put in this other character, the me of the story.
The Vogel.
Where just like the person that kind of gets sucked into this world. I mean, he's basically like, when Harry Potter finds out about Hogwarts, and then he's like, there's this whole other world I didn't know about. This is how this guy was about empathy and caring about other people.
I there's just groove with that too.
There's positive emotions instead of a magic school.
I get you. I thought you would like that part too. Where
and if it wasn't for that, if it was just a biopic of Mr. Rogers, I mean, I guess that's basically what the documentary is. But that wouldn't have
to explore how his philosophy affects people's psyche. Exploring empathy the way that he does and how it gets to you. That stuff's pretty powerful.
That was definitely my favorite part of the movie, is just when Lloyd's going through his life, more and more people, or it's not his whole life. This movie takes place over a month or two. But every person he talks to, at one point he's on the subway with Mr. Rogers, and these kids start singing the theme song. And the whole trade card singing it, and he's sitting next to him, just like, what the hell is happening? Because he's sitting next to this person that means something to every other person on the train car but him. Which is, I think, it's a great storytelling that way, where it's just like one person doesn't get it and how they come around to it.
Right. Like, I'm following through and I'm listening to the songs and I'm singing along with them.
Right. I mean,
what do you do when you're angry? I know the words to that song, so I'm singing along with it, but you don't know what it is. But I'm like, oh, this is such a good song, and it is such a good song.
I know the most I know about this, the Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, is my kid liked Daniel Tiger. Yeah. So I know Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, which is like, it's the same IP. But
Daniel Tiger has his own show?
Yeah, it's an animated kids show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. Yeah, it's good.
Good. Daniel's a really sweet.
Yeah. It's I mean, it's updated. It's in the past, 10 years. My kid watched it. But it has some of the same songs, and
he's still kind of bashful and shy and sweet.
Yeah, and there's like little kitty cat and
Princess Meow Meow.
Yeah, and there's like Prince Wednesday and stuff like that.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah. So all that shit's still in there, and I know more about that than I'd like to. But yeah, I definitely got into it more towards the end, just because of the way the movie was written. It's definitely not a movie. I actually think I started watching this maybe when it came out.
Yeah,
and I might have seen the whole thing, but I don't. The fact that I didn't even remember it, and actually sitting down and watching it and paying attention and not looking at my fucking phone all the time, made me really like it. And I was like, this is a really well-structured movie. Even if you take apart, like, you could plug anything into the structure of this movie, like I had talked about with one person, being brought into something that everyone else sees but not him, and you could take it to anyone else but Mr. Rogers, and it'd still be an incredibly captivating movie. But then he just took that scenario and plugged in Tom Hanks, top of his game, playing a beloved national or worldwide hero. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, just great movie, great storytelling.
Awesome.
Definitely a 3 for me.
That's great to hear, man. There's a scene that was very powerful to me that I loved, which was he was giving him a little bit of an interview, and Mr. Rogers just likes to talk about other stuff a lot. There's a beautiful interview with him that's online. It's a couple hours long, and he just starts telling a story, and then he starts getting into another story. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And it's like, no, keep talking. Like, that's what we're here for. Yeah. He does it like 3 or 4 times. It's like, oh, my gosh. But he's doing the interview, and Lloyd says, like, so you have kids of your own. And it's like, is it hard for your kids to have a father like you? And you could see it in Fred's face that, like, that upset him. Yeah. That question made him upset. But he just took a while. And he looked at him, and he says, like, my first son didn't, tell people I was his father until very recently. And he says, I want to thank you, Lloyd, for that perspective. I was like, he's doing it. Yeah. That's how you do it.
It's radical empathy.
He knows that he's mad, but he's going to take it away.
His wife even says in the movie, it's like, oh, he's got a temper.
Yeah. Oh, he's got a temper. But he pounds a ball of clay.
The one part that really got me was when Mr. Rogers come and visits Lloyd's family. Mr. Rogers, knew the wife's name,
he knew
father's
name.
Everyone. And one of the brother-in-law, Lloyd's brother-in-law, was just like, were you a sharpshooter? I was like, I remember those rumors about Mr. Rogers. Right? So it's like, oh, he always wore long sleeves because he had tattoos all on his arm. Or it's like he was a Navy SEAL and he killed like 13 people at once and shit like that. And I remember hearing all those rumors. That was kind of good. And also the guy that plays Mr. Rogers' manager was in Just Shoot Me.
Yeah.
He played Elliot on Just Shoot Me. Whenever he pops up, I'm just like, you were in Just Shoot Me.
I like him too. I like that character because he's very protective.
He's very protective.
Because he knows Fred's going to go off and do his sympathetic thing.
And he
doesn't want anybody to hurt him because he knows he's going to get hurt.
Or also just take advantage of a good-natured person. And I did like the fact with Lloyd would ask his manager, is like, is he for real? It's That's just who he is.
You're my manager. I'm Fred Rogers. You'd be that manager.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, you would.
Better head of hair, though. Much better.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The hair's been switched around. I have a worse set of hair.
But yeah, it was great. It's 100% a 3.
I'm very happy you liked it, man.
It's available to watch. I watched it on Stars.
I watched it on YouTube.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, I had to rent it for $4, but it was worth $4.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's all on YouTube right now. Since we're moving on from Mr. Rogers, Glenn Ross.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
wonderful for free.
Yeah, wow. You should watch that.
Should watch that.
That's one of our first episodes.
One of our first episodes.
I put it on. I was going through the algorithm, and I was at work, and just it was on there. It's like free. And I put it on because it's such a dialogue-driven movie. I was just listening to it like as a podcast. Glenn Ross, fucking
Pops as a
so good.
podcast.
My favorite line delivery in it is your character that you like, Shelley the Machine Levine, was recounting his sale. And best Al Pacino line delivery ever when he's like, Shelley says, "Hey, they got me coffee cake." And Al Pacino just goes, "How was it?" You know, "It's from the store." Fuck her. It's so fucking good. Like, watch Glenn Ross today,
I'm excited
too.
to watch it.
Yeah. What else did we... I forget.
What?
I'll ask you about it on the next time. It's some Reddit stuff that I wanted you to explain to me, but...
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We'll do it on the next episode.
All right, bud.
All right. So, yeah. Thank everyone for listening. Like I said earlier, you can write us emails at upyouralleypod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram at upyouralleypod. Subscribe to the YouTube page. Tell your friends about the show. Subscribe on Spotify, or just follow on Spotify. Whatever. Subscribe, follow, whatever. Rate it, give subscriptions, and let's find out what we're going to be talking about next week. Okay. Jacob, what do you have for me?
All right. Until very recently, I was batting 1,000 with my music recommendations for you.
Yes.
And I still want to push it. And I'm going to give you...
more music.
The Japanese...
oh, boy.
Jam rock band.
Oh, boy.
Cassiopeia. Specifically,
like
their live album, Mint Jams.
Mint Jams?
Mint Jams. It's live on wherever you get your
Spotify.
Music from. Yeah.
Cassiopeia is Casiopea.
Yes.
Mint
Jams. Yes. I think you will... this is good car music. I think it'll be good prep music while you're working.
So, Japanese jam band.
Yeah.
And can I say this?
Uh-huh.
There's jam on the cover.
Yeah.
And it's Mint Jams.
Well, it's green.
Yeah. Mint Jam. You put it on lamb. It's good.
I know, right? I have yet to try it.
It's not... you don't need it.
That's what I thought.
You make a good pan sauce with a little bit of red wine and some shallots.
That's exactly what I thought. I had it with red sauce before, and it's delicious.
Yeah, Mint Jam, I think it's good if you buy
I think it's a rich person thing.
No, I think it's people that don't know how to cook lamb properly, and they have it well done, or they buy a shitty piece of lamb.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. I see.
Yeah.
I
Like
know
when people
some
put
about
ranch dressing
food.
on a steak.
You
It's
know
like, you have
everything.
a shitty steak.
Ew. What?
S&P is all you need. So,
S&P,
yeah.
that's it.
I'm going to...
Down the hatch.
Letterkenny reference. That's
Yes,
our
sir.
one for the show. So I have one episode of a TV show for you.
Okay.
This might seem out of left field,
Let's see.
but there's a TV show that's had 2 seasons on, and you never watch it. It's called The Bear.
Oh, man. Okay.
So I want you to watch one episode of The Bear.
Okay.
It's season 2, episode 7.
Okay.
You've seen no episodes of The Bear.
No,
right?
I have not.
Okay, so this is
I'll
on
write it
Hulu.
down.
All you need to know is that the main guy, Jeremy Allen White, whatever his name is, his character Carmine is opening up a restaurant. He has a background he has a Michelin star,
Wow.
and now he's going back home. He's taken over. His brother had died, and he's taken over his brother's restaurant.
This sounds more intriguing than I thought it was, but
It is.
it would
So
still give me
this is going to
anxiety.
make you want to go back, because I tried to pick.
Okay.
It's not episode 1 because the show is kind of a slow burn, and the first couple episodes are really setting the tone. I think this is the best episode of the show. So season 2, episode 7, he's opening up his own restaurant. No spoilers, because it's a show about a restaurant. He's going to open up the restaurant. He has his cousin who's doesn't have the culinary school, worked at the sandwich shop ahead of time, and he's just like a counter guy, really loud, Chicago style, does everything under the table, pays in cash, sells a little drugs on the side, shit like that. And fuck, what is that actor's name? He was in Andor as well. Fuck, I feel bad.
Kate McKinnon.
Eben Moss Backrack.
I was close.
I probably said most of those wrong. But so this one, while they're setting up the new restaurant, his cousin sends him, the street guy, to stage, basically work unpaid at one of the best restaurants in Chicago. It's not called Alinea, but it's basically Alinea, where it's like a really fancy tasting menu, molecular gastronomy. Everything needs to be perfect.
The science.
That kind of restaurant that I fucking hate.
Yeah.
And I have zero interest, zero love for.
Yeah.
That super chefy stuff.
That menu guy.
Yeah, the menu shit.
Yeah.
So it's that guy going to stage at that restaurant. I think it's probably the best episode of the series.
Okay.
It's definitely my favorite. There's one, the episode before it is actually like an hour and a half long movie. That's like a flashback, and it has a lot of guest stars. That one, the flashback episode, has Bob Odenkirk, Jamie Lee Curtis, John Mulaney, Sarah Paulson, like all bunch of guest stars.
I love them.
Don't fucking watch that one, because that one will make you think, I don't want to watch another 10 hours of these intense people and their family screaming at each other.
Yikes. Yeah.
Episode 2 or season 2, episode 7.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Forks. Just watch it. Mm-hmm. You don't need to know anything else about the show that I've told you. It doesn't spoil anything that's coming on. It's just really well shot, paced. It's 35 minutes in and out.
Okay.
So just watch that.
For you, I will watch an episode of The Bear.
No, for the podcast, you're going to do it.
For the podcast, I'll watch an episode of The Bear.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's about everything for the show.
Yeah.
Like I said, send us. Oh, fuck. We got an email.
Hey, now.
So you can send us an email at upyouralleypod. Actually, oh, fuck. We have 5 emails in the inbox.
What?
Only one's from a person.
Hey.
We'll take one. This is a recommendation for Jake based on his comment that he made about watching The Raid 2.
Yeah.
This is from Amal. I think he would really enjoy Elite Squad.
Elite Squad.
A Brazilian movie made in 2007 starring Wagner Moraia.
Okay.
Or it could be Wagner Mora. I could be wrong about both of these names. There's no way to tell.
Okay.
About a special police unit trying to take out a gang in the favela.
Okay.
There's also a second part which he would equally enjoy. Cheers.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds up my alley. I'll do it.
Elite Squad. We got to find out.
Yeah.
We'll look into that because we always like audience recommendations and we'll do stuff.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, follow us on Instagram at upyouralleypod. Thank you to Jimmy for doing our social media pictures. Really appreciate
Jimmy,
that.
you nail it every single time, man.
And I don't know how to work Photoshop, so thank God he's there. Send us your email. Tell your friends. All right. Thanks for coming over and talking to me, Jake. Love you, buddy.
I love you, buddy.
Bye.
Bye.